Hi, welcome to the Pearls and Polish Podcast, episode 58. I'm your host, Rachel, coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. This is my puppy, Sabine. She is our schnoodle puppy, but on Saturday she turns 1, so she won't be much of a puppy much longer. But anyways, this is my corner of the internet where I talk about knitting for the most part, some crochet, crafting, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and anything else that we're up to. So if you are a new viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe so that you know when we have an episode out. It's been a little bit since we had an episode. But before we get started, as always, anyone I mention in today's episode, whether it's a dyer, designer, a maker, they're all going to be linked down below so that you can check out their work. But like I said, it's been a hot minute since we've had an episode. I tried doing Vlogmas this year, and like solidified Vlogmas is not for me. When I can do it during like the school year, like when the kids are in school, it's a little easier for me to do daily video check-ins because I'm stuck in the car waiting for them to get out of class or going between activities. But once they're out of school, it is very hard for me to do video check-ins. My day job, I work at a church, and then I'm also a substitute teacher. So both of those jobs don't allow me to kind of record where I'm at, just for the safety of the people I work with and the students that we serve. So I can't really show a whole lot about like my work. And I just don't like posting daily. So Vlogmas isn't really for me. So I have 2 weeks worth of Vlogmas, but I did not complete the other 2 weeks. I was also pretty sick, as I was last year. So I don't see a Vlogmas in 2025 this year. We'll figure something out. But that is quite a ways away because it is the beginning of the year. We've got new yarns, new plans, new projects, new planners. So very excited to share all of that with you today. So let's get started with finished objects. So every year for like the last couple years, I do Advent socks. So there are some very talented yarn dyers who do self-striping socks, and they do it in an Advent. So you knit 1 stripe a day, every day, counting down to Christmas. So I did 2 this year, and I have the first pair done. This is, I don't have my blockers, but this is the Cozy Knitter. I'll show you one. And I have done, I think this is my 3rd or 4th year doing the Cozy Knitter. But she's based out of Canada, and I really love her yarn base. It's very soft, it's very plump and kind of cushy. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So at least the ones that I get for the Cozy Knitter, I also got Freckled Whimsy, and I'll show you that in a minute. But it comes with 2 matching skeins, and what I end up doing is I give one to my mom. So I only do 50 grams, around 50 grams for a pair of socks. So normally I am a cuff down knitter. So I cast on my cuff and I knit all the way down to my toe and I bind off at the toe. However, with my Advents, I want to make sure that I'm able to use all of my Advent. So I actually start toe up. So I start at my toe, and then this is day 1, day 2, day 3, and I knit this way. Measure out my heel, and then keep going until, I'm done and I run out of yarn. So that has been working really well. Every year I kind of come into this little, not crisis, but like slight emergency, not even an emergency, as far as what heel am I going to put in. I really like plain vanilla socks. However, I find that the heel flap and gusset heel fits best on my foot and my foot shape. However, that's kind of hard to do on a toe up sock. It's not impossible. There are patterns out there, but I really struggle with those. So I got a little Sabine fur on my face. I did I want to say the Monday socks by Sarah Opie, and I've done these before, but she has a little heel, like a little gusset. So you increase coming up, and then you have these extra stitches right where this like triangle shape is. And then you decrease after you put in your heel. And then you put in your favorite short heel. So my favorite short heel is the Fish Lips Kiss heel by the Sock Therapist. I've tried a couple others and I don't like them as much. This is my favorite. So I end up doing it every year. So I think this is really going to be my Advent pattern because this is kind of what I revert to every year for the last couple years. These are the Freckled Whimsy socks. I still need to block these. I haven't wet blocked them yet. But very bright, very fun. I did the same heel with the increases and decreases. Fish Lips Kiss heel. This yarn is a little thinner compared to the Cozy Knitter. So when I would knit them, I'd have to not remember, but like my hands would feel the difference between the two yarns, which is great because it kind of kept me on my toes. But these stripes don't match. So that was also kind of fun as far as having similar socks, but not matching. And then these ones match exactly. So those are my finished objects for December. On to WIPs, works in progress. I have 3. So one of them is an Advent leftover from last year, can you believe it? And then I have 2 current WIPs. So my other Advent for 2024 was the Woolberry Advent. So they had 2 options. They had fingering weight and they had DK weight. So I picked DK. And then they had how many grams you could choose. So you could do 20 grams or 50 grams. I did 50 grams. And then you could pick the like moody colors, the bright colors, or both. So I picked both. So I had 24 colors, DK weight, 50 grams. The 50 grams may have been a little too much. I probably could have done 20 grams and been just fine, but that's okay. So what I've been doing is I've been doing the Battenberg blanket. It is very beautiful. It's a bunch of granny squares that you knit up and then, or crochet. This is crochet. You make them up and then you attach them. Everyone I feel like has done a Battenberg or started a Battenberg. I started one a couple years ago and stopped. The problem being for me is that the Battenberg is written for fingering weight yarn. And I love fingering weight yarn. I don't love fingering weight yarn blankets. I like DK or thicker. When I put on a blanket, I want to feel like warm and cozy. And for me, fingering weight doesn't do that. So I adjusted the pattern a little bit to do thicker yarn, DK weight. So these squares are a little bigger than what the pattern is written for. And then I have been attaching them. So all the colors are the ones that I did kind of every day. And then the gray is Knit Picks, DK Stroll. I don't remember what color it is. I'll link it down below. But I have been attaching these. So each color I did 8 granny squares. I'll show you like these. So I did 8 of each color and then I'm going through and attaching them. So instead of going, I don't know how I can show this well. 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. I'm going diagonal. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going all the way through to 24 and then I start over. So it's been a lot of fun making them, attaching them, trying to figure out the best way to start. First I started diagonally. Now I've got the whole like first row done. So I'm going to do a couple rows and I'm just going to put it together. So that has been really great. I think I'm going to end up gifting this blanket to someone who I know will really appreciate all the work that's put into it. But yeah, it's been great. If you have not tried the Battenberg or you tried it and did not finish it with a fingering weight yarn, I would highly encourage you to try it with a DK weight yarn. The squares are bigger and it just feels thicker and heavier, which I really like. So that is another work in progress. So my goal is to get that done hopefully in January. That's been my evening project. So once kids are in bed and I've got like a good chunk of time, I have been working on that. So hopefully it won't take a long time. I didn't want to sit on it and let it just sit and never get finished. I wanted to really like push through and finish it in like a timely manner. The other two projects I have are socks, of course. So Woolberry also did a naughty or nice mystery sock skein. So you bought naughty or nice and you didn't get a choice. They just sent you one. And it was all like all in good fun. You could buy multiples and either request to have one of each or to request to have two of the same set. I only bought one. And I got Naughty, which I really like the colors for Naughty better than I did the ones for Nice. They were both beautiful, but these are more my colors. Let me show you the mini skein. Is this little bright blue, which I think is just so cute. And then this is the main skein. This is green and it's got red speckles and some dark speckles. My husband just got home from work, so if you hear the dog downstairs, I'm so sorry. But anyways, I really love this colorway. I think it's just beautiful. It's called You're a Mean One, like You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. And that is one of our favorite Christmas movies. We just really love it. So we watched it multiple times during break. So it was so fun watching that movie and then working on these socks. So I finished the first sock and I actually cast off on New Year's Eve, which was really nice. And now I'm working on the second sock. But the pattern I ended up doing is, let me turn it this way. Again, sock blockers would be easier to show you things. But this is called the Vanilla's the New Black. Yeah, Vanilla's the New Black sock pattern. And I did this one 2 years ago when I did the La Mercerie year of socks. But it's like a triangle heel. So you do kind of this rib in the back, which is really fun. And then you do short rows on the bottom of the foot and then you start going in rounds again. So like I said, I've done this heel before, so it was really nice to do it again. This time, remembering that I would need to do less for the leg because all this of your heel increases are considered part of the leg. And if I had done my normal count, then I would have like mid-calf socks instead of like normal socks. And I didn't want mid-calf socks, nor do I have enough yarn to make those. So that has been really fun. So I've got the first 20 rounds done. So I have about 15 more rounds on this sock and then I'll start the heel increases and then I'm onto the foot. I feel like the longest amount of time or the most time I spent was on the foot. Unlike a heel flap and gusset, once you kind of finish your gusset decreases, it's kind of a sprint to the finish. This one felt a lot longer where it did not take me much to get through the leg, but it took me a lot more to get through the foot. But that's okay. It's not a race. And then my last whip is kind of part of what's going on for the year. But I am doing the Freckled Whimsy yarn subscription, so Yarn Club this year. And I am so excited to have a full year of self-striping yarn socks. I've done self-striping several times before, but I've never done it like as a whole year. So the colorway is called Love is in the Air. And, oh, I have the tag here. Here is the tag. So this is on her Serendipity base. And this is a 12 stripe repeat for January. 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 460 yards, 100 grams, 4-ply. I don't know if that is helpful at all. It's raining today and it's been kind of raining off and on. So a little earlier there was lots of sunshine and I was going to open up the windows and then it started to rain again. So the lighting is a little off in this room because the lighting is off outside. So I apologize. I've got the overhead light, which is not as nice, but it is what it is. But I'll show you what this looks like. Now the dog wants back in. So one thing that I said a lot over Vlogmas was this is like a snapshot of my life. This is a snapshot of my life. The dog wants in, the dog wants out. I get interrupted that's just my life. So welcome. I'm gonna let her in real quick. Okay, I'm back. So what I ended up doing was I actually made 2 skeins. So I weighed my yarn first. The label always says 100 grams, but when you actually weigh it, it ends up being a little over, like 102. So I wound it into a cake, weighed it, and then divided it in half. So I have 2 cakes. This month, I decided to do sisters and not twins. And you'll hear that a lot this year about whether I did twin socks or sister socks. Because they start off in different points. I'm doing them both at the same time. But their stripes are not going to match. Okay, similar to my Cozy Knitter stripe socks. These are twins, right? The stripes all exactly match. These ones are sisters because they look very similar, but they don't match. Just like my sister and I look very similar, but we're not exact copies of each other because we're not twins. So these are sisters, not twins. And I'm gonna knit striped socks for the month. So every month on the 1st, I will start my striped socks. And then of course I'll be working on other things throughout the year as well. But that is that. I'm gonna try and kind of keep them at the same pace. So if I do 2 stripes on one sock, then I'll do 2 stripes on the other sock. However, if I take them out with me somewhere, like tonight we have book club, and I take my socks with me to book club, then I'm just gonna pick one and just work on it, and then I will catch up the other one later. So that is works in progress. Let's move on to 2025 plans. It is a new year. It is a new yarn, new everything, which always makes me super excited. So what is new for 2025? We are, and by we I mean me and Sabine, I'm doing the Freckled Whimsy Club. I am not doing the Woolberry subscription. What do they call it? The Woolberry Collective. I decided not to do that again this year. And I'm not doing Row 1 Minis again this year. I loved both of them. They were both really great. I enjoyed being able to pick my colorway every month with the Woolberry and be able to pick my base. And if I had something very specific that I wanted, being able to have that freedom of choice. And I really loved the surprises of the minis and being able to work those up into hexagons, which I still need to finish. For the Row 1 minis, I really love both of those. But for this year, I decided just to do one subscription, and I decided I wanted to try Freckled Whimsies. Mostly because that is something I know I can keep up with, which kind of goes along with my second kind of goal for the year, which is to work through my stash. My husband and I are aggressively saving to pay off some student debt, but also start saving for a home here in California, which can be a bit expensive. So we're making some very strategic, like, financial choices. And part of that is I have a lot of yarn in my stash. So I really have no business buying more yarn if I'm not using what I have. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to buy anything at all. If there's something really special, then I'm going to purchase it because I can. I do have those funds available to me. But I'm trying to be very aware of the yarn that I have and also the space that is available to me to be able to store that yarn. I am running out of space, so I need to work through what I do have. And then going along with the space that I have that is quickly running out is working down all of my scraps. Every yarn project is going to have something left over, ideally, unless you're playing yarn chicken and then that gets a little crazy. But ideally, you're going to have something left over at the end of your project. And then what do you do with it? I have just been putting it in a box, and now I'm running out of space. So my other goal for the year is to try and work down like the scraps. So I don't know what that's going to look like. Scrappy blankets, probably, scrappy socks, either putting together advents for whoever wants them or for myself. But I do have lots of extra yarn that I need to work through, not just like my full skeins. So there's that. And now the sun is coming in and you've got this beautiful sunshine stripe right here on the wall. Again, welcome to my life. So the last thing that I want to do for 2025 is host a giveaway once a month. I am so appreciative of all of you who subscribe, who watch on a regular basis, who suggest this channel to your friends, that I want to say thank you. So I went through my stash and I picked out 12 skeins of my favorite yarn by some of my favorite dyers in some of my favorite colors, and I'm going to be giving one away every month. Now, that does not include any big celebratory moments that may happen this year, which I hope there are many. But once a month, at the beginning of the month, we're going to give away a skein of yarn. So what do you need to do to be in the running? Well, first, let me tell you what it is. I have a skein of Toasted Marshmallow by Hickory Lane Handmade. The yarn dyer is Lisa. Unfortunately, Lisa had to close her shop this year from some health issues. Which is very sad because she had beautiful colorways. I was able to do quite a few samples for her over the years, so I love Lisa. But anyways, Toasted Marshmallow was a special colorway because it only came out in the wintertime. So she would dye it up, and once it was gone, and then it wouldn't come back until the next year. So I have a skein. I've been saving it, and that's what I want to give away for this first episode of 2025. So how do you win? In the comments below, put in what you're looking forward to for 2025 or a goal that you have set for the new year. Either one of those, both is fine. But put in either something you're looking forward to or something that you're working on, and that will put you in the raffle for this skein of yarn. I will be drawing winners next week, and I'll have them in next week's episode. So make sure you do that. Let's move on to life updates. Oh, in my notes, I have this new little notebook. This came in with a new fountain pen I got over Christmas season, and it's very little. It's cute, but it doesn't give me a ton of space to write. I also did not space everything out very well. So I did not put in my notes what I'm reading or watching. So what am I reading and watching? I just started the book Crazy Rich Asians yesterday. I've read all 3 books before, love them. I've seen the movie and love it. But I wanted to read the series again. So I'm reading Crazy Rich Asians. Crazy Rich Asians. I just slurred all of that. For shows, I just finished Blue-Eyed Samurai, which I've seen before. I just needed kind of a palate cleanser, and then I think I'm going to start Arcane again. I watched that over Christmas break, and I really loved it, but I think I watched it too fast. Like, I watched them one right after another, but I didn't, really sit with the episodes, so I'm going to watch it again and really kind of take everything in. And then life updates. Like I said earlier, Sabine is our puppy. She turns 1 tomorrow. It's been a long time since we've had a puppy. Our other dog passed away in February of last year, and she was about 14. So all of a sudden we have a puppy again. So that has been a lot of fun. She's grown a ton. She's learned a ton. She can still be a bit of a menace, but we love having her around. What else do I have? I'm looking at my notes. I got accepted into a year-long kind of study group for my work, which would be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. However, it's a little bit like going back to school, and I have been very adamant about not going back to school for lots of reasons. So I'm a little nervous about starting this program. It is going to take some of my time. So I don't know how that's going to affect my knitting and other things, but it'll be okay. So that's going to be for the whole year. So I'm looking forward to that. And then kids go back to school next week. It has been so nice having everyone home for break and being able to do stuff together and be intentional about our time together and, rest and all of that. But I'm ready for everyone to be back to school and back to Taekwondo and back to the normal stuff. My kids are great. My family is great, but we all do best when we're on our routine, and this is not a routine. So they all go back to school on Monday, and then I kind of go back into my regular work schedule on Monday as well, which would be lovely. So that is our episode. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 58. It's been a while since I've done like an outro, so let's see if I remember how to do this. Make sure you enter into the giveaway that's going to be announced next week, and I will see you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe again, and I will see you later.